Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Twig Your Man channel. In today's video, we're diving into a fascinating topic: how to practice Stoicism in your daily life. Whether you're a complete beginner or looking to deepen your existing practice, I'm here to share some practical tips that can help you stay calm, resilient, and more in control of your emotions, no matter what life throws your way. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's explore how these ancient principles can be surprisingly effective in our modern world. Let's get started. For those interested in trying Stoicism, a good start is what I call stealth Stoicism. Keep it quiet that you're practicing Stoicism to avoid being teased by those around you. It's pretty easy to do, like using negative visualization without anyone noticing. If you're successful, people might see a positive change in you but won't be sure why. If they ask, you can decide whether to share that you're practicing Stoicism. My advice is to start with one Stoic practice and master it before moving on to others. A great starting point is negative visualization. Take moments throughout your day to think about losing something you value. This practice can significantly alter your perspective, helping you feel grateful for what you have, no matter your situation. Think of negative visualization like adding salt to a dish. It's a small act, but it greatly enhances your ability to appreciate life. After practicing it, you might find yourself more content with your life, even if you previously felt dissatisfied. In practicing Stoicism, I've noticed it's easy to skip negative visualization, especially after experiencing the increased contentment it brings. Once we feel satisfied, we naturally focus on enjoying life rather than thinking about potential negatives. However, the Stoics emphasize that negative visualization is crucial not only for appreciating what we have, but also for helping us not to become too attached to these things. It's important to practice this both during good times and bad. Initially, I tried to practice negative visualization at bedtime, but I kept falling asleep too quickly to make it effective. Now, I use my drive to work to practice this and reflect on my Stoic progress, turning idle time into something productive. Once you're comfortable with negative visualization, the next step is to learn the trichotomy of control. This concept involves identifying what you can control, what you can't, and what you can influence to some extent. Focusing on the latter two categories reduces unnecessary stress and enhances efficiency, steering clear of worries over things beyond our control. I've found that using the trichotomy of control not only helps manage my own anxieties, but also eases the worries of those around me. Often when friends and family express their concerns, they're stressing over things beyond their control. I usually point out the futility of worrying about such matters by asking, "What can you do about this situation?" Nothing. So why worry? This approach, backed by a quote from Marcus Aurelius, "Nothing is worth doing pointlessly," often helps them see the logic in letting go of those anxieties, even if just temporarily. For those new to Stoicism, mastering the trichotomy of control involves shifting your focus from outcomes you can't influence to actions within your control. For example, rather than obsessing over winning a tennis match, aim to prepare thoroughly and play your best. This mindset shift helps reduce feelings of failure by focusing on effort rather than outcomes. Additionally, Stoicism teaches us to accept the past and present while shaping the future. It encourages us not to dwell on what-ifs regarding past events or the current state of things, recognizing that we can't alter these but can learn from them to improve future actions. Embracing this perspective helps you accept life as it is, while still striving for personal growth and tranquility. Dealing with insults has become a key part of my Stoic practice, turning me into an insult connoisseur. Instead of dreading insults, I now analyze and categorize each one, seeing them as opportunities to hone my Stoic responses. This shift might sound odd, but actively using Stoic techniques in real situations has been a transformative aspect of my journey. Insults often catch us off guard, striking in the midst of calm conversations. For instance, a colleague discussing my work suddenly debated whether to label my views as evil or merely misguided. Such exchanges are typical in academia, where everyone seeks recognition and admiration for their work, often leading to verbal clashes. Recognizing this helps prepare for and navigate through the common barrage of academic insults. Before embracing Stoicism, an insult would have easily angered me and led me to respond aggressively. However, since adopting Stoic principles, I've learned to handle insults with self-deprecating humor. For instance, when accused of being evil or misguided, I humorously suggested, "Why not both?" This approach shows I don't take myself too seriously and can laugh at myself, which often disarms the insulter. When criticized, instead of defending myself, I play along, exaggerating their point to highlight the absurdity. If called lazy, I might joke, "It's a miracle I managed to get anything done." This not only diffuses the situation but also signals my confidence and detachment from others' opinions. By refusing to retaliate with insults, I demonstrate a higher level of personal security and maturity, which can frustrate the insulter more than any comeback would. Getting angry when others irritate us can disrupt our peace of mind. The Stoics believe that anger is detrimental to joy and can seriously harm our lives. From my own experience, I've noticed that anger can unexpectedly surge up, catching me off guard during moments like a yoga class, bringing up old grievances. Interestingly, contrary to what Seneca believed, there is a certain allure to expressing anger. It often feels satisfying to let it out, especially when we feel justified. However, like scratching a mosquito bite, the immediate relief can lead to regret as the initial satisfaction gives way to increased discomfort and potential complications. In essence, while venting anger might provide a momentary release, it often leaves us wishing we had managed our emotions more wisely. Expressing anger, especially in an attempt to change someone's behavior, may seem effective, but often it's not. For instance, when I'm driving and get angry at other drivers, yelling doesn't really solve anything. They can't hear me, so my anger doesn't change their behavior and just disrupts my own peace. Similarly, even when I feel justifiably angry at someone, if I can't express it directly, I end up harboring negative thoughts, which only disturb me and don't impact the other person at all. Such reactions are ultimately pointless. Through practicing Stoicism, I've noticed a decrease in how often I get angry while driving. And when I do hold onto negative thoughts about past wrongs, they don't linger as long. Understanding anger better has made it easier to manage. Learning to control this emotion is challenging but becomes more feasible the more we reflect on and comprehend it. While waiting in a doctor's office and reading Seneca's essay on anger, I was unexpectedly delayed for nearly an hour. Previously, this would have made me angry, but thinking about anger at that moment made it difficult for me to actually feel angry. I've also discovered that humor is an effective tool against anger. For instance, I like to imagine myself as a character in an absurd play, where nothing is supposed to make sense and competence is unexpected. This perspective helps me to laugh at situations that might otherwise upset me. Seneca was right in suggesting that laughter is often the best response to frustrating situations, indicating a more enlightened approach to life's absurdities. Seneca and other Stoics also taught that experiencing voluntary discomfort can be beneficial. They suggested practices like living frugally or intentionally enduring hardship to develop resilience. However, these practices require a high level of self-discipline and are generally recommended for more experienced practitioners of Stoicism. I've embraced voluntary discomfort to enhance my Stoic practice. Instead of extreme measures like going barefoot, I've opted for simpler challenges like underdressing in cold weather, avoiding heating my car in the winter, and skipping air conditioning in the summer. I've also taken up yoga, which not only boosts my balance and flexibility but also serves as a form of discomfort when I hold painful poses, learning to breathe through the discomfort as taught by my yoga instructor. Additionally, I've taken up rowing, which presents both physical and emotional challenges. Racing in a shell exposes me to harsh weather conditions, leading to physical discomfort like blisters and calluses, and it also tests my emotional resilience by forcing me to face various fears. Both yoga and rowing have significantly contributed to my practice of Stoicism by pushing my limits in controlled, beneficial ways. Racing in unstable shells, I've had to face and overcome several fears, such as flipping over, rowing in darkness, and launching from the dock standing up. These experiences have pushed me to tackle my fear of being far from shore in a small boat that's flipped several times before. Competitive activities like rowing often cause nerves or butterflies, which I've learned to embrace as part of my Stoic growth. I've come to see these butterflies not just as signs of nervousness, but as challenges to my ability to handle fear of failure. Before a race, these feelings help sharpen my focus, and once the race starts, they dissipate, enhancing my experience. My journey with Stoicism has also led me to explore new challenges, such as learning to play the banjo. Despite my initial hesitation about performing in a recital, I saw it as a chance to face my fear of public failure. This decision turned out to be a valuable step in practicing resilience and confronting anxieties directly. The banjo recital I participated in was incredibly stressful, more so than any lecture I've given to unfamiliar students. This wasn't about a fear of crowds, it was about confronting a personal challenge. I felt intense anxiety, which seemed irrational yet was very real, manifesting as severe butterflies and a sense of altered reality. However, I made it through, proving to myself that I could handle the pressure. This experience taught me a valuable Stoic lesson. Facing anxiety head-on can actually reduce future anxiety. Each challenge I overcome makes subsequent challenges seem less daunting. It's like immunizing myself against the fear of failure. Sure, this immunity might fade over time, necessitating further exposure to stressful situations, but each experience strengthens my resilience. In these moments, I see myself as split into two: the comfortable self who avoids challenges, and the disciplined Stoic who confronts them. This internal conflict, as described by the philosopher Epictetus, is a battle against my own complacency and fear, pushing me to grow beyond the easy pleasures of a comfortable life. To succeed in the personal challenge against my weaker self, I need to push past comfort zones and resist short-lived pleasures. This means making him face discomforts he would typically avoid and bypassing fleeting joys. Confronting fears directly is essential for developing the self-discipline that lets us take charge of our lives, rather than having our paths shaped by external influences. Challenging my less disciplined self also strengthens my character, an idea highly valued by Stoic philosophy. While some may dismiss the importance of building character, the Stoics viewed it as crucial to leading a fulfilling life. Surprisingly, this internal competition can be enjoyable. It's rewarding to overcome a fear or a personal limit, which aligns with Stoic teachings that find value in self-denial and endurance. For example, when I row competitively, it's not just about beating others. It's about overcoming my own reluctance to train and compete. Despite part of me wanting to quit mid-race, conquering these moments of weakness proves to be incredibly satisfying and is a testament to my growth. In rowing competitions, my fellow racers are not just opponents but also partners in my personal battle against laziness and fear. It's a dual challenge where one can technically lose the race but still win a significant personal victory by overcoming inner weaknesses. Adopting a simpler lifestyle is another Stoic practice aimed at refining one's character, recommended for those more seasoned in Stoicism. Beginners might find it overwhelming, as minimalism can draw attention and lead to misunderstandings, such as assumptions of financial trouble or mental issues. When I first embraced a minimalist lifestyle, like buying clothes from thrift stores, I initially felt embarrassed. This experience echoed the lessons from Cato, the Stoic who deliberately induced shame to train himself only to feel it for truly shameful acts. This practice helped me realize that the discomfort was a growth opportunity, teaching me to differentiate between superficial and genuine concerns. Since adopting Stoicism, my lifestyle and desires have shifted significantly. I no longer crave luxurious items. My clothing is now purely functional, consisting of just a tie and a sport coat for occasional use. Even my approach to vehicles has changed. I recently replaced my old car with a 9-year-old model, which to my delight has a working radio and a cup holder. My perspective on possessions like Rolex watches has also transformed. I find it hard to understand the appeal now. Financially, I'm more conservative, focusing only on essentials, which contrasts sharply with many Americans who struggle with debt due to unchecked spending. It seems that embracing simpler pleasures could lead to both wealth and greater happiness for many. My approach to shopping has drastically changed. I find myself disinterested and often bewildered by the array of items for sale in malls, which I realize I don't need or even want. Observing other shoppers, I notice many seem to be seeking out things they didn't know they wanted, hoping to spark a new desire simply for the satisfaction of fulfilling it. A temporary thrill akin to a quick fix that ultimately doesn't contribute to long-term happiness. I don't actively resist consumer impulses. Rather, they've naturally diminished. Stoicism has taught me that acquiring typical status symbols like a new car, a luxury watch, or a bigger house wouldn't genuinely increase my happiness. This realization has profoundly shifted my values, leading me to a simpler, more content lifestyle. Having embraced Stoicism, I've noticed a significant shift in my consumer behavior, moving away from the mindless shopping that once amused me. Now it feels like I've passed a point of no return where the allure of consumerism no longer holds its grip on me. Stoicism involves preparing for challenges through practices like negative visualization and embracing discomfort. Interestingly, if these anticipated hardships don't materialize, it can lead to a unique form of disappointment. This feeling is akin to a firefighter trained and ready to battle flames but never called into action, or a football player who trains all season without getting game time. This preparedness without application can make a tranquil life feel unsettling because you're left wondering about your ability to handle real adversity. Historians like Paul Vane have noted that for Stoics, a peaceful life might feel disconcerting as they're unable to test their resilience against significant challenges. Similarly, Seneca wrote that a wise man might even welcome adversity, viewing it as a test of his Stoic virtues and as an opportunity to prove his strength. In my own experience with Stoicism, I've found myself seeking situations that test my Stoic skills. Whether it's handling insults calmly or facing scenarios that test my bravery, these challenges are crucial for confirming my growth in Stoicism. This drive to test my Stoicism has provided deeper insights into the philosophy and my personal development within it. I started experiencing flashes of light in my peripheral vision, which led me to visit my eye doctor. There, I learned I had a torn retina that needed immediate laser surgery to prevent further damage. During the surgery, I initially saw intense bursts of light, but suddenly they stopped, and all I could hear was the sound of the laser. When the procedure ended, I could only see a purple blob, suggesting something might have gone wrong, possibly leaving me blind in one eye. This unsettling thought made me consider how I would handle such a loss stoically. I found myself assessing my ability to accept potentially being blind in one eye as a test of my Stoic principles. This reaction, while odd to some, illustrates a deeper influence of Stoicism on my mindset, showing how it prepares one to face adversity calmly and rationally. After my eye surgery, when I temporarily lost vision in one eye, the nurse reassured me that it was normal and my sight would return within an hour, which it did. This spared me the chance to test my Stoicism under those stressful conditions. Looking ahead, as I approach old age in about a decade, I face another significant test of my Stoic principles. I've been observing older individuals, seeking role models who embrace their later years with grace. Unfortunately, many seem to view old age negatively, often jokingly advising, "Don't get old," as if the alternative were preferable. This reflects a sentiment similar to the Stoic Musonius's idea that it's better to die well than to live poorly into old age. From these observations, I've realized that many who struggle with old age may not have adequately prepared for it. Embracing Stoicism earlier in life could potentially change one's experience of aging, making it not a burden, but, as Seneca suggests, one of the most fulfilling stages of life, if approached with the right mindset. While writing this book, my 88-year-old mother suffered a stroke and was moved to a nursing home. The stroke severely impacted her mobility and swallowing ability, necessitating a diet of pureed foods and thickened liquids to prevent choking. Understandably, she was distressed by these changes. To support her, I used Stoic principles rather than religious comforts. When she expressed frustration about her limitations, I reminded her of Stoic views, likening life's struggles to wrestling, not dancing. When discussing her mobility, rather than focusing on the unlikely return of her ability to walk, I encouraged her to focus on what she could do, like participating actively in her physical therapy. I also encouraged her to practice negative visualization, a Stoic technique, to appreciate what capabilities she retained, such as speaking, which she had initially lost after the stroke. This helped her see her situation with a bit of gratitude. Her response, often reflective, acknowledged the value in focusing on the positives, however small. Using negative visualization helped alleviate my mother's distress from the challenges of aging and illness, even if just temporarily. This practice demonstrated how fitting Stoic principles are in managing life's difficulties. After her stroke, my mother's condition made it unsafe for her to drink unthickened water, which intensified her cravings for normal water. Repeatedly, she would ask for a glass of plain water, and repeatedly, I had to deny her requests for her safety, explaining the reasons each time. This recurring situation made me feel like a son forced to withhold simple comforts from his mother. Seeking a solution, I consulted a nurse who suggested giving her ice cubes to suck on, which would hydrate her slowly and safely. I embraced this role, playfully announcing myself as the Iceman cometh with each visit, bringing her ice cubes that she would savor intensely. This new enjoyment of ice was a stark transformation from her previous gourmet preferences, highlighting a simple yet profound source of pleasure in her current life stage. Observing my mother find joy in something as simple as ice cubes sparked a bit of envy in me. It made me realize how we often take everyday comforts for granted, like drinking a cold glass of water on a hot day. This moment underscored the limitations of negative visualization. Some appreciations might only come through profound life changes. During a visit to the nursing home, I met an elderly retired professor, which made me reflect on my own future. This encounter reminded me of the inevitability of aging and the importance of preparing for it, a core aspect of Stoic philosophy. While Stoicism hasn't granted me perfect tranquility, It has significantly calmed my mind and improved how I handle negative emotions. I've become less reactive to anger and better at managing stress and insults. Although I'm less anxious about potential calamities and my own mortality, the ultimate test of my Stoic practice, as noted by Seneca, will come at life's end. While practicing Stoicism has helped me manage my negative emotions better, I haven't completely eliminated them. I'm now more appreciative of what I have, largely due to practicing negative visualization, which has significantly reduced my dissatisfaction with life. However, there's still the question of whether I'd remain appreciative if my circumstances drastically changed. Could I be too attached to what I currently value? Only a true test of my Stoicism could reveal that. Another insight from my Stoic practice is the discovery of a unique kind of joy, not tied to specific things, but a broader appreciation of life itself. This joy isn't constant or profound, but comes in moments of delight at simply being alive. Initially unsure how to respond to these feelings, I've learned to embrace them, realizing that it's more fulfilling to accept and enjoy these spontaneous feelings of joy than to suppress them. I acknowledge that discussing my satisfaction with life might come off as self-congratulatory, which isn't typically encouraged in Stoicism. However, I share these insights because they address a common question about Stoicism. Does it really improve one's psychological well-being? For me, it has significantly delivered on its promises. Moving forward, I aim to remain humble in my public expressions about my mental state. Though committed to Stoicism, I occasionally question whether forgoing certain desires, like luxury items, for tranquility is the right choice. Could mainstream values of wealth and fame offer a better life? Such doubts aren't unique to me. Even historical Stoics like Seneca explored these conflicts in their writings. This internal conflict suggests that the path of Stoicism isn't free from second-guessing, especially when observing the contrasting lavish lifestyles of others. This leads me to wonder if perhaps the majority who pursue material wealth over tranquility are onto something, and I'm the one missing out. My research into the philosophy of desire reveals that many thinkers believe the majority are mistaken in how they live, valuing tranquility as a worthy goal, though opinions on achieving it vary, including beyond Stoic methods. Whenever I doubt Stoicism, I remind myself that certainty in life, unlike in mathematics, is unattainable. Choosing Stoicism might be a mistake, but so could rejecting it for another philosophy, or worse, living without any philosophical guidance at all. Many simply follow their instincts, seeking immediate gratification and avoiding discomfort, which may yield a comfortable life, yet possibly not a fulfilling one. The Stoics argue that a life dedicated to philosophical principles, though perhaps less comfortable, could be richer in joy. As I age, I expect my doubts about Stoicism to diminish, particularly as its principles prove most valuable during challenging times. If Stoicism serves me well now, it's likely to become essential in my later years, demonstrating its true worth when life becomes tougher. Facing the biggest challenges in my life still lies ahead, and I believe having a grasp of Stoicism will be beneficial when those times come. While there's no definitive proof that Stoicism, or any philosophy for that matter, is the absolute correct way to live, the principles of Stoicism offer compelling reasons to give it a try, especially for those with certain characteristics or in particular circumstances. Practicing Stoicism requires minimal effort and poses little risk, since it can be adopted quietly and even discontinued without any negative consequences. Essentially, experimenting with Stoicism might not only be low risk, but could also potentially offer significant rewards, such as leading a more fulfilled life, as suggested by the philosopher Marcus Aurelius. In conclusion, While the future may hold significant challenges, adopting Stoicism has prepared me to face them with resilience and perspective. Though conclusive evidence validating Stoicism as the definitive life philosophy is lacking, its potential benefits make it a worthwhile pursuit for those seeking to improve their quality of life. Engaging in Stoic practices involves minimal risk and effort, making it an accessible choice for anyone interested in exploring philosophical ways to enhance their living experience. With so much to gain and little to lose, embracing Stoicism could lead to profound personal growth and a deeper appreciation for life's journey.